Hello, and welcome. I'm so glad you're here. Have you ever looked at those headlines about superfoods or extreme fitness regimes promising a longer life and just thought, that's not for me? Maybe it feels too complicated, too expensive, or just too exhausting to even think about. You're not alone. So often, we're sold this idea that adding years to our life requires a dramatic, overwhelming overhaul, something big and shiny and new. But what if I told you the real secret isn't found in the extraordinary, but in the ordinary? What if the very things we dismiss as too simple, too boring, are actually the golden threads that weave together a longer, healthier, more vibrant life? That's what I call the longevity paradox. The most powerful tools aren't exotic, they're humble. They're the daily, quiet habits that work their magic steadily, without fanfare. Today, we're going to talk about 6 of these so-called boring daily habits. They won't require a gym membership you'll never use or ingredients you can't pronounce. They're rooted in common sense, backed by science, and most importantly, they are entirely within your grasp. These are the subtle shifts that don't just add years to your life, but life to your years. Let's gently unfold the first few together. The first habit might seem so obvious that you'll wonder why I'm even mentioning it. But I promise you, its power is profound. It's about water. Not in a dramatic detox cleanse way, but in a consistent, sipping throughout the day way. As we get older, our sense of thirst naturally diminishes. It's not that our bodies need less water, it's that the signal for it gets quieter. We can mistake it for hunger, for fatigue, or just not notice it at all. The result? We spend much of the day mildly dehydrated. And here's what that quietly steals from us: our energy, the clarity of our thinking, even the health of our joints. Dehydration can make us feel foggy, sluggish, and can amplify aches. The simple act of intentionally drinking water is like giving a precious houseplant a steady drink. It's not a flood once a week, it's consistent care. So, what does this look like? I'm not asking you to carry a gallon jug around. Let's make it effortless. Start your morning with a full glass of water before coffee or tea. It's a gentle wake-up call for your system. Then, have a dedicated glass or bottle you keep nearby. Your goal isn't to count ounces obsessively, but to take small sips regularly. If you find plain water too boring, and many of us do, infuse it with a slice of lemon, a few cucumber rounds, or a couple of frozen berries. The goal is to make your urine a very light, pale yellow. That's your personal dashboard light telling you systems are hydrated. This one boring habit supports your kidneys, your brain, your digestion, and your energy levels from the inside out. It's the foundation everything else is built upon. Now, let's build on that foundation with the second habit, which is about what we put on our plates. I want to talk about protein. And before you think of bodybuilders and chalky shakes, let me reframe it. Think of protein as the building blocks that maintain your strength, your independence. There's a natural process that begins as early as our 40s and 50s called sarcopenia, which is the gradual loss of muscle mass and strength. It's why opening a jar or getting out of a chair can slowly become more challenging. But this process isn't a foregone conclusion. We can dramatically slow it down, and the key is consistent, daily protein. The mistake many of us make is eating most of our protein at dinner. Our bodies can only use so much at once for repair and maintenance. It's far more effective to spread it out. So, the habit is this: include a source of good quality protein at every single meal. Breakfast is where this often falls apart. Instead of just toast and jam, what if you added a spoonful of Greek yogurt, a couple of eggs, or even some leftover chicken from last night's dinner? Sounds unconventional for breakfast? Maybe, but it's powerful. For lunch, think beyond the sandwich. A hearty lentil soup, a tuna salad, or some beans in your salad. Dinner you likely have covered. This isn't about eating giant steaks, it's about thoughtful distribution. Why does this matter so much? Because maintaining your muscle mass is what keeps you strong, keeps you stable on your feet to prevent falls, and keeps your metabolism humming. It is quite literally the physical capital that allows you to live independently. Every time you choose to add that egg, that scoop of cottage cheese, or those beans to your plate, you are making a direct deposit into your independence account. And this leads us so beautifully into the third habit, which is about movement. Not exercise as a punishing event, but movement as a daily celebration of what your body can still do. The goal here is to simply break up long periods of sitting. Research is now crystal clear, prolo. That sense of peace, that quieting of the internal noise, it leads us perfectly into our fourth daily habit. And this one might surprise you because it doesn't involve your body directly, but your mind's voice. I'm talking about the habit of managing your inner critic. Now, you might think, what does my self-talk have to do with living longer? The connection is profound and backed by science. Chronic stress, anxiety, and self-criticism flood our bodies with cortisol, a hormone that, in sustained high doses, increases inflammation, weakens the immune system, and literally ages our cells from the inside. Think about it. How many times today has a quiet voice in your head muttered something unkind? Maybe you dropped something and thought, "Oh, you clumsy old fool." Or you forgot a name and sighed, "My memory is just gone." We often speak to ourselves in ways we would never, ever speak to a dear friend. That voice isn't just a passing thought, it's a physiological event. It triggers a stress response. So, the habit is this: practice speaking to yourself with the same patience, kindness, and encouragement you would offer your best friend or a beloved grandchild. This isn't about empty affirmations in the mirror if that doesn't feel right for you. It's about conscious redirection. When you hear that critical whisper, pause. Just for a second. Then, gently reframe it. "I dropped that because my hands are a little stiff today. It's okay. I'll pick it up slowly." Or, "I forgot that name. My brain has stored a lifetime of faces and names, it's allowed to need a moment to retrieve one." This simple act of compassionate redirection is like applying a soothing balm to your nervous system. It lowers cortisol. It creates a sense of safety within yourself. You are becoming your own ally, not your own adversary. And when you are your own ally, you are more likely to take those positive steps, to drink the water, to take the walk, because you believe you're worth caring for. This habit builds resilience from the inside out, and resilience is a cornerstone of longevity. It's how we weather life's inevitable storms without letting them break our spirit or our health. Now, from the kindness we show ourselves, we naturally extend that kindness outward, which brings us to the fifth habit, purposeful connection. I can almost hear some of you thinking, "But I'm not lonely. I have my family." That's wonderful, and family is crucial. But purposeful connection goes a step beyond. It's about engaging with the wider world in a way that makes you feel you still have something to contribute, that your voice and your experience matter. Isolation and a deep sense of "I'm no longer needed" can be just as damaging to our health as any physical habit. This habit isn't necessarily about making a dozen new friends. It's about one small, consistent thread of engagement that ties you to your community. It could be volunteering one morning a week at the local library or food pantry. It could be a weekly phone call to a more housebound friend, where you are the one offering cheer. It could be joining a book club at the community center, or even participating thoughtfully in the comments section of a channel like this, sharing your wisdom with others. The key is the purposeful part, the sense that you are adding value. Why does this add years? Because it fights the shrinkage of our world that can sometimes happen later in life. It gives us a reason to get dressed, to be curious, to learn new things. It stimulates our minds and fulfills a deep human need to belong and to be useful. This kind of connection releases oxytocin, the bonding hormone, which counteracts stress and promotes feelings of well-being. It gets you out of your own head and your own potential worries. You become part of a story bigger than yourself. So, the daily habit might be as simple as sending one thoughtful text to check on someone, or making a point to have a genuine conversation with your cashier at the grocery store, asking how their day is going. It's about reaching out, however slightly, and weaving your thread back into the social fabric every single day. We've covered quite a journey so far, from the cellular level of hydration and protein, to the physical reality of movement, to the inner landscape of our self-talk, and now to our place in the human community. These habits are interconnected, a tapestry of well-being. The water and protein fuel the body for movement. The kind self-talk gives us the courage to connect. The connections give us joy that makes the daily care of ourselves feel worthwhile. This brings us to the threshold of our final habit, the one that ties all the others together in a beautiful, restful bow. It's the habit that allows the body and mind to repair, consolidate, and prepare for a new day. It is, of course, about our approach to rest. But not just any rest, a specific quality of rest that has become elusive for so many. We'll cross that threshold together next, and explore how this final boring practice is perhaps the most rejuvenating of them all. And that brings us to our sixth and final daily habit, the one that is the absolute bedrock of all the others, prioritizing restful sleep. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. Sleep? That's not a habit, it's something that either happens or it doesn't. Or perhaps, I'm in bed for 8 hours, but I wake up feeling like I barely slept at all. That's exactly why we need to reframe sleep. It's not a passive state we fall into, it's an active, vital process we must prepare for and honor. Calling it boring is the ultimate understatement. It is, in fact, the most sophisticated and critical repair session your body conducts every single day. As we age, sleep patterns often change. It's common to sleep more lightly, wake more frequently, or find it harder to fall asleep. But accepting restless, poor quality sleep as just part of getting older is a mistake we can't afford. Because during deep, restorative sleep is when the magic happens. Your body repairs cells, clears metabolic waste from the brain, think of it as taking out the neural trash, consolidates memories, and regulates hormones that control appetite, mood, and stress. Without good sleep, the protein you eat isn't utilized as well for muscle repair. Your ability to manage stress and quiet that inner critic plummets. Your energy for movement and connection fades. Everything we've talked about hinges on this period of restoration. So, the habit is not just going to bed. The habit is creating a sanctuary for sleep. This is about the hour before you intend to sleep. It's a conscious, gentle wind down. First, let's talk about light, especially the blue light from our TVs, tablets, and phones. This light tricks our brain into thinking it's still daytime, suppressing the production of melatonin, the sleep hormone. The habit is to put these screens away at least 60 minutes before bed. I know, it's a big ask. But try it. Instead, this could be your time for soft music, for listening to an audiobook, for gentle stretching, or for sipping a caffeine-free herbal tea like chamomile. It's a time for dim, warm lamps instead of bright overhead lights. And here's where we connect it all. This quiet hour is a perfect time for a kindness check-in with yourself. Instead of scrolling through news that might stir anxiety, reflect gently on the day. Did you hydrate well? Did you include some protein? Did you take your movement snacks? Did you catch your inner critic and redirect it? This isn't a time for judgment, but for gentle acknowledgement. It's a way of telling your nervous system, the day is done. We cared for ourselves today. Now it is time to rest. Your bedroom itself should feel like a cave, cool, dark, and quiet. A slightly cool room temperature is far more conducive to deep sleep than a warm one. This practice, this ritual of preparing for sleep, signals to every system in your body that it is safe to power down, to heal, and to restore. It's the closing of the daily loop. You hydrated and nourished your body, you moved it with kindness, you managed your mind with compassion, you connected with your world with purpose, and now, you grant it the profound gift of deep restoration. Each habit supports the other, creating an upward spiral of well-being. So, let's take a quiet moment to look at these 6 boring daily habits together. We have the steady foundation of consistent hydration, the structural support of daily protein for strength, the fluidity of frequent movement snacks, the compassionate inner climate of managing your self-talk, the expansive warmth of purposeful connection, and the restorative sanctuary of prioritizing sleep. The paradox is truly this, that these ordinary, unglamorous, daily actions hold the extraordinary power to add not just years to your life, but vibrant, engaged, independent life to your years. They aren't about a drastic makeover, they are about tender, consistent care. You don't have to tackle them all at once tomorrow. That's the beauty. Start with one. Perhaps tomorrow, you simply focus on the water glass by your side. Once that feels natural, layer in spreading your protein throughout the day. Then, add your hourly movement breaks. This is a gentle journey, not a race. It's about progress, not perfection. Every small choice is a love note to your future self. I would love to hear from you in the comments. Which of these boring habits resonates most with you? Is there one you already do that makes a big difference, or one you'd like to start with? Your wisdom and experiences are invaluable, and they help build this wonderful community. If this conversation felt helpful, if it gave you a practical spark of hope, please give this video a like. It helps others, just like you, find it. And consider subscribing to the channel for more gentle, actionable guides to living your very best life. We're here to navigate this journey together, with kindness and common sense. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. Remember, your longest and most vibrant life is built not in a single leap, but in these small, daily steps. Take good care of yourselves. I'll see you in the next video. Here's to your health, your happiness, and the powerful simplicity of a life well lived. Thank you for watching until the end of the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the Old Age Everyday channel to live a healthy and happy life every day.